They say the forest has its own rules, some written in the wind, some in the snow. I never believed that, until the day I met him. I was 30, alone in the Montana backcountry, miles from any trail. The storm rolled in so fast it swallowed the sun, and from that moment on, every step I took could have been my last. But out there, in that frozen silence, I wasn't alone. Something wild was watching me, something with eyes like burning amber, and teeth sharp enough to tear me apart. Yet he didn't. My name's Ethan Cole. I'm 30 years old, born and raised in Bozeman, Montana. I've been hiking these mountains since I was 12. The cold doesn't scare me. The snow doesn't scare me. But this day would change everything I thought I knew about the wilderness and the creatures that call it home. It was early February. I'd taken 3 days off from work to hike deep into the Gallatin National Forest. Fresh snow coated the pines, and the air was sharp enough to sting my lungs. I carried my pack, my map, and my camera, ready to capture the untouched beauty of winter. The sun hung low, spilling gold over the ridges. Everything was perfect. Around midday, I stopped near a frozen creek. That's when I saw it, a paw print. Large, fresh, the edges still sharp. Definitely a wolf. I'd seen tracks before, but this one, it felt different. It was heading the same way I was. For a moment, I felt a shiver that had nothing to do with the cold. Still, I kept going. By mid-afternoon, the sky turned from bright blue to an iron gray. Snow began falling, lightly at first, then heavier, faster. I checked my map, realizing the trail markers were gone, buried under the snow. My compass spun uselessly in my shaking hands. The forest blurred into a wall of white. I knew enough to be scared. Out here, a storm like this can kill. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. I trudged forward, my boots sinking knee-deep in snow, until the ground sloped sharply. I stopped just in time, inches from a cliff edge, a drop into a black void. The wind screamed past me. That's when I heard it, a low growl close. I spun around, heart hammering, and there he was, a massive gray wolf, standing against the snow like a shadow come to life. We locked eyes. His fur was thick and dusted with frost, his amber gaze steady and unblinking. He bared his teeth, the sound low and dangerous. I froze, knowing running was useless. But then his ears twitched. His growl cut off, replaced by something else, a sound from behind me. I turned my head, and my blood went cold. A grizzly bear, hulking, its breath steaming in the frigid air, was climbing toward me from below the cliff edge. The bear lunged upward. Instinct made me stumble back toward the wolf, but instead of attacking me, the wolf darted forward, snapping and snarling at the bear. Snow exploded under their movements. The bear swiped, the wolf dodged, teeth flashing. My mind screamed at me to move. I stumbled sideways, away from the cliff, boots slipping in the snow. The wolf broke from the fight and circled around me, his massive body slamming into my legs, pushing me toward the treeline. I realized then he wasn't driving me off. He was steering me away from danger. Behind us, the bear's roar faded into the storm. The wind howled, but the wolf kept glancing back to make sure I followed. Snow whipped so hard I could barely see his shape in front of me. My legs burned, my lungs ached, but every time I slowed, he'd stop too, turning his head as if to say, "Keep going." The world was just white and shadow now. I had no idea where he was leading me, but I trusted him. Through the blur of snow, I saw it, a small rocky overhang, shielded from the worst of the wind. The wolf padded inside first, shook the snow from his coat, and looked back at me. I crawled in, gasping for breath, my hands numb. The storm screamed outside, but in here, it was almost safe. I must have dozed off from exhaustion. When I opened my eyes, pale morning light spilled into the shelter. The storm had passed. My body ached, but I was alive. And there he was, sitting at the edge of the clearing, watching me. No growl, no threat, just watching. When I stepped out, he stood too. For a moment, we just looked at each other. Then, without a sound, he turned and trotted into the forest. I wanted to call out, but what would I say? Thank you didn't feel big enough. It took me hours to find a ranger station. When I told them a wolf had led me out, they raised their eyebrows. Wolves don't do that, one ranger said. But I knew what I saw, what I felt. That wasn't coincidence. That was choice. A week later, I went back. I hiked to the edge of that same forest. I didn't expect him to come, but I whistled anyway. For a long moment, nothing. Then, a shape moved between the trees. Amber eyes met mine from the shadows. He didn't come closer. He didn't need to. People ask me now if I believe wild animals can care about us. I tell them, I know they can, because I met one who could have ended me, but instead, he saved me. I don't know his name, but I'll remember his eyes until the day I die. My guardian gray. Some protect with guns, some with badges, mine with fangs and instinct. He didn't owe me anything, yet he gave me everything. If this story moved you, you're not alone. At Loyal Voice, we share real, powerful tales that deserve to be heard. Like, comment, and subscribe for more stories, and never miss the next miracle.